Hi there, Aquarius, and welcome to your August reading. Really great to see everyone again, and just a reminder that you can use this for your sun, for your rising, and also for your moon. With that being said, we do have some things to consider this month. We have an eclipse and also Mercury retrograde. Now, I really like to encourage everyone to approach this with a sense of neutrality and open-mindedness, because both of these are elements of change, particularly the eclipse. And the retrograde gives you a chance to release cycles in your life, things that you no longer want to keep. And a lot of times things that we've swept under the rug come back to us. So this is a month of second chances and a month of new beginnings. And I think if you approach it in that respect, you might embrace and even enjoy the energy that comes through. So your channeled information this month is less is more. It's about brevity. It's also about restraint. So brevity in communications. If you have to talk to, a very difficult person on the telephone, really just keep the conversation short. The less you say to them, the better, and the less you reveal to them, the better. When it comes to diet and even the extremes to which you exercise, it's also about not going overboard. So, basically exercising a sense of moderation and brevity throughout the month is really going to help you through the ebbs and flows of this sort of cosmic craziness that's going on with the eclipse and the retrograde. So stay calm, don't overdo things, and now let's take a look at the cards and see what additional insights they provide. So if you're new to this, the way I normally organize my readings each month is I start with channeled information. These cards volunteered, so I'm going to let them be where they are. But again, I start with channeled information, and then I expand the forecast to look at the energy of the month, and then health, wealth, love, and destiny. I'm also going to pull an extra card at the end of the reading, but I'll explain that when the time comes. Alright, so before we look at the tarot cards, we're going to take a look at a catalyst. The catalyst is what sets the month into motion. It's also that connective thread that ties everything together. Your catalyst this month is about growth, but growth that is slow. The card was reversed. What you really want to be focusing on this month is expansion of awareness and consciousness. So for those of you that are looking for intuitive development or learning to get a little bit more in touch with your spiritual side, the energy of this retrograde and eclipse is opening up your intuition. So don't be afraid to really focus more on meditating and centering yourself. It's going to benefit you quite a bit. So as we look at your center card here, we have Temperance. And in essence, Temperance is really aligning to that channeled information of not going to extremes. In fact, that's basically the definition of temperance. So I want you to, especially at the beginning of the month, to honor that need to basically allow for a balance to take place. And you can still treat yourself, you can still have fun, but it's really about not going too far in either direction. And that's going to help you stay truer to your goals and basically stay on track with health and everything in your life, finances as well, because spending and eating are kind of similar. Sometimes we can overindulge, and before we know what happens, we're in a place that we didn't want to be. Right on top of that, I have the Sun, which is showing that things are going to work out fine, that it's really just about, it's almost a little bit of a mind game with how you approach things. Once you get past the first week, I see a lot of openings happening for you. Looking first, though, at what's affecting you coming into the month, we have the Five of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles is a card of taking care of your health, making that be the primary focus, I would say, of the first week as well. So if there's anything in your body that needs to be repaired, this is usually in the extremities, around the knees, around the ankles, in the legs themselves. If there's anything that you need to do to take care of yourself, really focus on extremities during the first week of the month. For some of you that have children or are parents, this is about strengthening the bond between you and your family during that week as well. And of course it has to do with money and concerns over finance. So as I look at the rest of your cards, however, it feels like you have a lot of support. So I wouldn't focus so much on where you were coming from over the past month, because I feel like things are evening out, at least in the way this feels like it's a little more fear-based for finances for some of you. When we're looking at how you feel towards the first and second week of the month, we have this Maid of Cups here, and this is about really being in touch with your creative energy, and also any of the emotions that might have been overwhelming from the past month. I feel like for many Aquarians, this month is going to allow for you to even out. So that's good news if you were having an emotional sort of July or an emotional summer in the Northern Hemisphere. Your crowning card is pretty good. We have the Ten of Cups, which shows celebration, connection to family and friends, and also a chance for you to basically, if you wanted to, engage in more activities that are fun. And I would encourage you to do that, especially if you're in a place where the weather allows for it. Get out, enjoy yourself, and this is where it's okay to occasionally splurge as well. What I'm looking at in the near future for some of you is an opportunity for you to settle down any sort of arguments, vendettas, or grudges that you might be having with family members or friends. The Seven of Swords, particularly when it's reversed, is about feeling like you're ready to let go. The card itself also speaks to boundaries, and so for some of you, this could be as easy as deciding not to pick up the phone if someone calls. It can also be about trying to offer that first step towards peace. So if you've just been wishing that something would end, a negative experience with someone, what you could say is you could approach them and talk to them and say, listen, I know it's been difficult and we may not be able to mend every bridge, but let's agree to just stop this negativity, because I like you and I'm ready to move on. I want to put my energy into other things, and I'm just tired of having a grudge. So for what it's worth, I've moved on. I've had a similar sort of experience in my life where I've tried this and it works, because most people don't want to hold grudges either, and they're very surprised when you approach them and say, let's end this, let's move on. We're just people, that was just a situation, I don't even know why we're angry. So part of that is about letting go. The other part, for those of you that don't have good boundaries, I do want you to focus on saying no, maybe not picking up the phone sometime if someone's calling you too much or emailing you too much, letting it some time and some distance go between communication. Now let's take a look at the rest of the cards here. In your ego position, we have this gateway card, the Two of Staves or the Two of Wands. And what this is really saying is don't be afraid to try something that you've never tried before, something that is unusual. And for some of you, you may be sort of stuck in a rut. And what this month is going to be is about a chance for you to get out of that routine. So I want you to shift out your routine a little bit and try some new things. And that's what we see with the Two of Wands, to dream a little bit, because you may have been so used to just doing the same thing day in and day out that you forgot that, hey, there's a new restaurant down the road, or maybe I want to take a class, or what if I want to take a day trip here or there. The sky is the limit. I say that a lot, but sometimes we get boxed in by routine or expectations. I see that there's a lot of opportunity towards the middle to end of the month for you to really shine in public situations. So I feel like your energy is going to be well received by other people. They'll want to be around you. If there's anything difficult that you need to present, whether it's a legal case or if you just need to, for those of you that are still working, this is about making a presentation or a pitch. Really good time for that, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you want people to connect with your business or your product. So third and fourth weeks of the month looking good for that. When I look at your fears, there is a sense of not knowing what's coming. And you know, we saw a little bit of this in the past. I'm seeing it again here. The Eight of Swords is something that you're holding on to. I actually like this particular illustration because unlike some where we see the swords all around them, you actually see this person holding on to the swords a little bit. So the fear for you, I just want you each day of this month to think, I'm acknowledging the fears that I feel, but I'm not going to react until I see some sort of sign that they're real. Feel that you know, it's okay to have frustration, to worry about things, but the more energy you put into that worrying, the more that it actually can manifest. What I want you to look at as you approach the end of the month is, what do you want, particularly in your own heart, your own dreams? What do you want to do? I ask this question a lot of clients and a lot of friends and family sometimes, and they don't know. So the more focus that you have on your intention and your desire, this is something I've seen in about 3 different signs this month, so it's very important. The easier it is to be successful. The great thing with 8 of Wands is I feel like it's going to be a very busy month for you. And I feel like you're going to be more than capable of managing all of that busyness on your plate. This card is saying, though, pick and choose how busy you want to be. And don't be afraid to say no occasionally to some things. And don't be afraid to push back if necessary. So overall, I feel like the energy is very, very good for you this month. That there's a lot of opportunity for growth. That there's ample opportunity to have fun. The biggest challenge for you, though, is not going to extremes, not going to extremes with your fear, not going to extremes with worrying about the money, and really to bring your health into a place of stability, because everything else is looking very, very optimistic. Let's now expand the forecast and start with your health card. See if there's any messages for health in regards to mind, body, and spirit. And so we have avoid allergens here. And, you know, for those of you that live in a very warm climate, this may be easier said than done. It might be hay fever season. There may be certain animals that you're allergic to. Whatever your allergies are, I want you to take care of yourself and make sure that you're getting the treatment if necessary, especially if it's impeding with your ability to sleep or to concentrate. The other thing with this, when I look at allergens, it's this particular card is saying avoid anything that is toxic as well. So this is limiting caffeine, limiting sugar, and also limiting your exposure to harsh chemicals in your life. So if you are feeling a little bit out of sorts, maybe even you're having some skin issues, take a look at the type of soap you're using and be more gentle to your body overall. All right. Let's take a look now at wealth and prosperity and see what's coming through in your wealth sector. So we have that it's a time to change your habits. We have shifting here, which means what was working before may not be working now, and to have some flexibility when it comes to how you're spending, how you're saving, and your relationship overall with finances. Now let's take a look at love and relationships. Your relationship card this month is about having empathy and compassion for others, especially, I wouldn't say even, I would say especially for those who don't know how to do it for you. I want you to lead by example, but also express that same compassion to yourself. So Aquarians, you can be stubborn sometimes, and you can also be really critical of yourself. The same is true really of all the air signs, because you're so sort of cognitive, and you can go high level and look down at your life and others, that sometimes you have high expectations of yourself. So love yourself, love others, have empathy for yourself, and have empathy for others. Your final card here is your destiny card, and when I'm looking at this, more than anything, it's a GPS. It's pointing to your true north, and if it feels like this is good for you, then stick with it. If not, adjust course so that you're happy with your trajectory. And I feel like this is a good card. We have the 3 of Cups, and the 3 of Cups is all about opening up a little bit socially. And sometimes that's hard, especially if you're a private person or if it's been a while since you've done that. But this is saying that if you get out into public situations, you know, birthday parties, graduations, weddings, etc., or even join some sort of a club or decide to participate in service, some sort of volunteer work, it's really going to open up your heart space. So find ways that you can celebrate and enjoy the company of others, whether it's one person or a group of people. It's really going to benefit your overall energy. As promised, I want to pull an additional card this month to really look at the effects of the eclipse and also the effects of retrograde overall on you. And what I'm seeing is it's actually about growth for you. So this flowering card is showing wherever you're feeling the discomfort, I want you to go into the discomfort a little bit and see where it takes you. See where the ebb and flow of the cosmos is trying to bring you. Think of it as almost like riding a raft out on the ocean. At some point you know that you can't control too much. You just want to kind of keep an eye out and see if you like the direction that you're headed. I feel like there's going to be some growth though, spiritual growth and emotional growth this month. So I'm not worried so much about you in regards to the cosmic elements. Let's go ahead and summarize everything because I know I cover a lot every month. Your channeled information was to embrace brevity, not to go overboard. It's all about temperance, which we saw at the center of your spread. Your catalyst card was to embrace growth, specifically when it comes to perhaps your spiritual growth or your cosmic growth or your awareness. As we look at the spread of cards itself, temperance is right at the middle, saying, you know, don't go overboard, but also don't deprive yourself because we have 10 of Cups on top. We have the Sun here showing that your overall energy this month is really positive. The only things you want to focus on are your overall health, particularly in your legs, your arms, your extremities, looking at your financial situation and getting comfortable with it. We know when we looked at the expanded forecast that you need to approach it with a different attitude, so you'll know how to shift that accordingly. There is a lot of love and happiness coming through for you this month because we have the Maid of Cups, the 10 of Cups. We also had a 3 of Cups in your destiny position. So if there's any parties, if there's any celebrations, you really should take part in them. I feel like you're going to benefit in those. If there's anybody in your life, whether it's a friend, a family member, a neighbor, a landlord, and they're driving you nuts, this is the month to sort of just let it go. It's not worth the time and energy. And surprisingly, if you approach them with a peace pipe and say, and this is figuratively speaking, of course, but just say, you know, I'm ready to let this go. I feel like it'll go away, but it's up to you if you're ready. I'm encouraging you to dream a little bit. Dream about what you'd like to do. I feel like many of you may not give yourself that chance to kind of go out on a limb and think of new opportunities. So dream wide, dream big, and follow up on that. You're very well received this month, especially if you're in business, but even in romantic situations or social situations, so don't worry about that. Still a lot of fear. I feel like the fear is attached to money, and it's also attached to, am I going to be able to take care of myself, defend myself? Will I be able to manage? So whatever it is that's going to bring you a sense of confidence in those areas, please embrace it and feel free to go after that. When we looked at your health this month, it was to be gentle with your body in what you're drinking and what you're eating and what you put on your body and also in what you surround yourself with. So avoid allergens, but also avoid harsh chemicals and harsh environments. So for those of you that might be in a really difficult workplace, it's also about trying to limit your exposure to the people and the energy of that space. I know, easier said than done. Looking at wealth and your relationship with money, there are some changes that are necessary this month. I feel like you're going to understand how to shift, but you have to be flexible. When we look at, we just looked at health, wealth, let's look at love. It's about being compassionate, not only with others, but also, I would say more importantly, with yourself. Give yourself a break, celebrate the progress that you've made, and don't be so hard on yourself. When we looked at your destiny, I'm encouraging you to participate now in as many social activities as you can, because this month is really positive for you in regards to how you're going to fare in a social environment. So say yes to invitations. The overall cosmic energy with all the shifts in the celestial events, it's really to your benefit. There's growth opportunities. The most growth happening in the areas of heart, of love, and of relationships. So that concludes our reading for this month. I hope that it gave you the clarity and hopefully the grounding that you need to approach the month ahead. If you'd ever like more insights into your life, I do offer one-on-one appointments, and you can click on the link at the end of the video. There'll be a booking link, and that will allow you to check out rates and availability. If you'd like to just stay in touch, there's a lot of ways to do so. You can join my Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter accounts, and I'm very good about posting updates about the videos or any new meditations to those channels. Also, if you'd like to just stay in touch here on YouTube, feel free to hit the subscribe button and also that little bell icon, which will send you emails as soon as I post things. And finally, if you found that this was useful and you'd just like to give a small token of appreciation, I do have a link that will allow you to make a donation of any amount on my website. That's completely up to you though. Finally, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys are really great about the support, the feedback, and really the sense of community that you've created here over the past few years. So you have a lot of choices, and I appreciate that you wanted to spend time with me this month. So from my heart to yours, I hope that you find that sense of balance that I saw coming through for you, that you're able to find a way to not go overboard, really embracing that less is more, and if you so choose, to have some fun this month. I see there's a lot of positive energy coming through in people and relationships, so don't be afraid to go out in public, okay? Until I see you again next month, wishing you all the best. Love, abundance, and joy. Goodbye.